pleasant welcome to this edition of the Star Good Morning Show. Today being Monday, the 13th of May 2019. Welcome to Star Television on Star, broadcasting live from our Media One Center, 3 Number Street, Brookfield in Freetown. My name is Abdul Rahman Kamal. Top stories in the program. The chairman of the All Political Parties Association and leader of the National Unity and Reconciliation Party, Dr. Jonathan J.P. D, and the Communications Person National Commission for Democracy, Reverend Jubilee Akagbo, have both expressed a need for a comprehensive dialogue in the Beauty Monetary Conference that will chart the way forward for sustainable democracy. In order to push for increased financial inclusion and adhere to the bank's corporate social responsibility while complementing government-free quality education, the management of Ukel Commercial Bank has delivered a public lecture to students at the University of Makeni, UNIMAC, on the topic financial inclusion and financial awareness. The West African Examination Council on Saturday, 11th May 2019, conducted a national primary school examination for pupils across the country, with the Ministry of Education enforcing a restriction on parents who used to accompany their children to the examination center. All these, including sport, will be part of the program. The Ministry of Political and Public Affairs, in partnership with other stakeholders, has concluded a nationwide consultation on dialogue leading to the holding of the Beauty Monetary Conference, slated for the 23rd to the 25th of May 2019. The conference is aimed at creating the platform for a more inclusive national dialogue into issues affecting the cohesion and nation building. My guest in the studio to discuss the importance of the Beauty Monetary Conference, I have Teddy Fode Musa, lecturer Peace and Conflict Studies, University of Sierra Leone. Good morning and welcome to the program, sir. Good morning, Abdurrahman. Good morning, viewers, and thank you for having me. Great. Remember, the Star Good Morning Show is proudly sponsored by Ukel Commercial Bank.
For you in a trader, mighty account.
You, I don't people only keke there. Who say you the worship so? Tell who smoking my way the worship for you. We don't get all length in there.
Now Ukel Commercial Bank now then the worship for me.
Ukel Commercial Bank don't get money, man. Tell me about the account.
Na keke account na inna the money, man.
Tell me what is keke. Tell me what is keke.
I be advice on the last thing say.
Yes.
Make una go open keke account. Always una the admire too. Na keke account don't give me. I got over 20 kekes they really run for me.
What in?
Yes. Even the big ones in the country presently. Now me and then they operate.
With that small money, we will put in the account. Now you will buy all the things they are so with.
That small money they now in don't turn something for me directly.
Now me they get money. I will give me woman. Petty money all the eater.
Mommy man, take your money, go to any branch. Tell them say you want to open account. Simple.
The problem I get now that me na bike rider. I wonder if I'm going to give for open keke account for me.
Whether you na bike rider, whether you na keke rider, whether you dey ride omolanke or push wheelbarrow, I tell una for free. That account is there for una all. Yes.
So how? Any can
just go na any branch.
Any of them branch?
Yes. Tell them say you want to open keke account. That's all.
The matter don't done. It don't done. Me to go open your account. What?
You will ride bikes. Keke riders, omolanke pushers. Una can't join we. Now go Ukel Commercial Bank inside keke account. We all can be millionaire.
Can join Ukel Commercial Bank.
Commercial Bank #1. Bank with Ukel Commercial Bank #1.
Welcome back from that commercial break where you move along with the program. The chairman of the All Political Parties Association and leader of the National Unity and Reconciliation Party, Dr. Jonathan Sandi, and the Communications Person, National Commission for Democracy, Reverend Jubilee Akagbo, have both expressed a need for a comprehensive dialogue in the Beauty Monetary Conference that will chart the way forward for sustainable democracy. When they visited our studios, they spoke to Leno Wajawa in this interview.
It's important that we make conscious effort to look into that aspect of our national governance. And when you take your time to reflect on the nation's history, you know at a time like this, conscious effort should be made to bring people together. As far as I know, Sierra Leone needs a lot of togetherness. The aftermath of the elections, up till now, the main opposition does not see eye to eye with the ruling government, and that is serious. In a multi-ethnic country, when where you have rather a situation wherein people, their allegiance mostly to political parties is based on probably where you're coming from, things like that, you know that there is need for us to look at national cohesion and unity from a serious perspective, so that all of us can come together. Different people with different shades of opinion can come together and address the issues bedeviling the nation. And it's important to come together when you consider the fact that a nation that is not united, a nation that is divided, it's difficult for such a nation to make significant progress. Because if you have one group of people making conscious effort to move forward, you have others who are holding them back. And that is not good for development. And 58 years down the line since independence, at times you are tempted to ask the question, what do we have to show for that? And part of the problem is that we are looking at a nation that is somewhat fragmented, a nation that is divided on different lines, sectional, partisan, regional, tribal, etc. But we need to fix this problem. It has to be now. I don't want to use the word never, but it has to be now, because we can't keep waiting. We can't keep prolonging or delaying our national development. And when we know that it's hinging on national unity and cohesion, then all of us must embrace national unity and cohesion and move our nation forward.
It is clear that there's a need for us to work to what we call a national integration process. The many issues that are coming up and the challenges that people face in terms of the increased tension and vulnerability of our society. I must be honest with you, the political climate is not conducive. And if it is not conducive, what are the consequences for attracting foreign direct investment? I'm also an economics, so I know the implication that until we deal with our relationship and the manner in which we live together politically and socially, then the consequences that in terms of international public trust in Sierra Leone may be under fire. And therefore, that's why you see the exchange rate is increasing everything. Foreign direct investment is not coming as we feel. The mining sector having implications. People, are they investing? Are we seeing things? The exchange rate, the consumer price index, that's what we call consumer price, that is the indicator of how you measure living standards. I just saw the report from the Central Statistics Office with Professor Usman Sankor. It's not good in loot. Kenya, for example, is recording 1.446 increase in percentage of national consumer price index, which means whether it's yabas, pepper, maggi, transport, it's a composite index, meaning people are living, when they say they go on dry, that's what it means. Do people have access to finances for their living? All of this, in my honest view, as somebody who works in democratic governance in the past and presently as a politician, the implication is that we need political stability through an enhanced taking stock of where we are in terms of building relationship and to enhance national integration.
The leader and chairman of the All Political Party Association, Dr. Jonathan J.P. Sandi and Reverend Jibila Kabo from the NCD. Remember, you can follow this discussion on the YouTube Star TV channel 21 and on Facebook Star TV live page. My guest in the studio is Teddy Fode Musa, lecturer, Peace and Conflict Studies, Fabi College, University of Sierra Leone. Teddy Fode Musa, good morning and welcome to the program.
Thank you once again for having me.
We've seen a situation where the Ministry of Political and Public Affairs, in partnership with other stakeholders, has concluded a nationwide consultation dialogue leading to the holding of the Beauty Monetary Conference later for the 23rd and 25th of May. The conference, according to the organizers, is aimed at creating a platform for a more inclusive national dialogue into issues affecting the cohesion and nation building. Well, depending on who you talk to, someone will say we are not experiencing any kind of division in the country. But just still, that is a food for thought for you guys, experts. Let's begin on the process, owning the process leading to the Beauty Management Conference.
In the first place, let me start by commending the government and, for thinking about holding such a dialogue forum. What is missing in this country, Abdurrahman, is the fact that we don't have a culture of dialoguing. We don't sit down to talk to ourselves. We are beginning to witness explosions in our parliament when we expect people who are parliamentarians to be able to sit down and engage themselves, dialogue, and arrive at points. You see them rolling out, busting on the streets. We are beginning to see the space being closed once certain set of civil society people take their voice out, and you see all other people lashing at them. It's all because dialogue is missing. So for me, it's a good move that the government is coming up with a dialogue. We don't need to feel ourselves disunited before we think of a dialogue. Dialogue is something that has to happen. It's a process. It's part of democracy. It's a consultative idea. It's something that should be moved, to the point that you should be able, as a government, to call on your citizenry and engage them. So for me, the Bintu Mani 3 is a very good start. It's a movement that we expect Sierra Leoneans to go out there and express how they feel and what they look at. And I think the Bintu Mani 3 is pushing at two things, according to my understanding: the establishment of the Peace Commission and that of our governance process. We are all aware that there are issues with our governance process. So they want to see how much of the citizenry voices could be added to all of these processes, which comes from the angle of consultation. So it's a fine thing. I think the only thing that we need to be careful around the whole process is let's project it to be a national, agenda, a national process,
and let's not be seen from the national from the political corridors.
Yeah, that's the danger about it. Once it is moved into that political corridor, I mean, people will begin to lose interest around it. They will begin to lose their taste for what should be a national issue. And it depends upon the players. Government is one of those players. They have to walk themselves very well around that corridor to let the whole thing appear to be a national issue, and as well as the civil society, themselves, Sierra Leoneans as a whole. But on the whole, it's a very good thing. I think it's in place and highly significant.
As you reiterated that it should be people-centered, but mindful of the fact that we've got two type of blueprints ever since. One, you're talking of the Lomé Peace Accord of 1999, and we're talking of the TRC, for which all of these, there are similar recommendations that invariably could lead to the formation of what we are heading now, what we're heading towards now. So to a larger extent, I'm not sure whether the entire process is pretty much new in the views of many people.
It is not. You are very correct. I think in this country we have two types of peace blueprints that we can always fall back to. One is the Lomé Peace Accord, 1999, and the other is the TRC. Both of those peace blueprints have spoken loudly on the consolidation of peace in this country. I have something I can read here, what really was stated in the Lomé Peace Accord. If you look at Article 4 of that Lomé Peace Accord, it states that a commission for the consolidation of peace shall be established within 2 weeks of the signing of the present agreement to implement a post-conflict program that ensures reconciliation and the welfare of all parties to the conflict, especially the victims of war. The CPP, that's the Commission for Consolidation of Peace, shall have the overall goal and responsibility for supervising and monitoring the implementation of and compliance with the provision of the present agreement relative to the promotion of national reconciliation and the consolidation of peace. These were the exact words that were catalogued in the Lomé Peace Accord. meaning that the idea of going to Buntumani now for the establishment started from this point. And imagine that we had this particular Lomé Peace Accord signed in 1999. It is like 20 or more years to over 2 decades now. We are still talking about the realization of that. So what I want to bring to the hearing of the viewers at this moment is the fact that this is a national cause. It's not a political thing. The president, we want to be thankful to him that he's going to pick on this, to run with it. But the president is not doing any Sierra Leonean a favor. We are happy that he's coming hard on this to get this realized, to have this realized in the interest of the people. But this was something that would have been done 2 decades back. It's a national program, and this is why some of us keep saying that the government should let it appear to look like a national program. It's not a party manifesto thing. It should be independent. It should be a thing that should encourage every other Sierra Leonean. It's about peace. It's about reconciliation in this country. It's about consolidating, what is supposed to be peace that can be injected into development.
Okay, let me welcome another studio guest here, Thomas Mokonte, Executive Director for Citizen Advocacy Network, and Mohamed Lamran Abba from the Communication Team, Ministry of Information and Communication. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Good morning.
Let me start with you. We're looking at 2 critical elements here. The views of many people, others are saying, depend to who you talk to, there's no need for a Buntumani conference, a Buntumani 3 conference. For others, they said there is need for it because there ought to be where, as a nation, we can engender that spirit of cohesion. Let's look at politics that, to a larger extent, has created a kind of free in our national unity, and looking at the religion for which we become impeccable excellence as a nation of tolerance. These 2 critical elements, when you look at the entire trajectory of our politics, the body politics, do you realize any seeming division or disunity among Sierra Leoneans?
It goes without saying that Sierra Leone is divided currently more than ever in the history of our nation. It will be a disservice to Sierra Leoneans for me to sit here and say the country is not divided. The country is divided along political, tribal, regional, and other view lines. And there is need for the political class to actually bring up programs and to actually exemplify in their actions the ideals of peace and national cohesion. So it's of course I have mixed feelings about the Buntumani conference, I must say. On the one hand, I hold the view that the Buntumani conference is necessary. On the other hand, I hold the view that it is not necessary. What do I say this? The Buntumani conference will be very necessary if our leaders are genuine in really fostering peace and cohesion in our darling country. How would they be genuine in doing this? It is by actually opening the space, as we've heard from Mr. Musa, for all sects of society, all facets of society to own the process. It should not be a political campaign or a political machine, a political tool. It should be a process that is geared towards bringing peace, fostering peace in the nation, especially in a divided nation like ours. And it should also present a platform for our leaders.
The most talks about division seem to be over-exaggerated.
Well, I don't think so. It is not over-exaggerated. You move all over the country currently. You move all over in all sectors. We have a divided country. We have a deeply divided country. Along political lines.
Maybe just a little.
1 year after the elections, we still have a tense atmosphere as if we are still in elections. Every now and then, there is this high tension. People still hold on to their political party beliefs, which is actually gradually dragging into tribal, regional, and what have you. There is not denying the fact that the political support of these political parties in this country come from different regions. They all have their strongholds. For SLP, they come from the southeast. For APC, they have the northwest. And there are, of course, predominantly these tribes in all of these regions. And these people hold on to the belief that it's as if it is us against them. This mentality of winner takes it all. This mentality of if you are not in power, then you have lost everything. You not belong to the running of the state. And what you do is to actually oppose everything that comes from the state. Or those that are in power believe that they could actually use their power to suppress those that are not in power, to actually lord over them, wherein some people feel they are better Sierra Leoneans than others. This is one thing that is actually creating the tension in the country. And that is why I believe that on the other arm of my notion about this Bintumani conference, the leadership, over and above forming commissions, making Bintumani conference 1, 2, 10, 30, 100, if our actions as leaders, President Bio, his ministers, his spokespersons, do not actually reflect, do not actually preach peace and national cohesion, they come to the studios, they should actually, in what they say, they should actually be mindful. They should be mindful of what comes out of their mouth. Because these are people who are coming from positions of authority. Their actions, you don't sack people because of what they believe in. You don't actually alienate people because they not share your views. You don't want to actually create that platform that people would start seeing that you are against them. Okay. And that is one thing that I believe should actually be settled going into this National Cohesion Commission. Because look at what happened in Parliament. That is a textbook example. It is, of course, a conglomeration. People want to actually, that is why I find it difficult.
Mr. Teddy Musa cited, when he started this conversation, that's where he predicated his argument that
dialogue is missing.
The dialogue is missing.
Dialogue is missing. And Parliament, I believe, is one platform where dialogue should be practiced, should take center stage. But it does not happen. Okay. And you saw what happened there. That is a monumental embarrassment to this nation. It creates tension. It sends a very bad message to the international community. Those parliamentarians who walked out of Parliament, of course, though I hold my own view, I would have really wanted them to be in Parliament, listen to the speech or what have you. But they have their rights. And we should also take note of the issues that they have raised that actually precipitated their moving out of Parliament.
Okay, I'll come back.
Because unless we address these issues and stop paying lip service to them or playing with talking, they will continue to have these problems over and again.
I'll come back to let me bring in Mohamed Lanonaba from the government's angle. Mohamed, you heard what the experts here, Telefode Musa, have just highlighted, that the entire process should be seen as a people-centered, and it should be seen as a national project. Keywords.
Sure.
And not be seen within the political corridors. These are very strong.
Yeah, sure. Let me start with that first off before coming into it much more. Well, for you to actually have a national ownership, what the government did was that they hired a consultant by the name of Hawasamai. Hawasamai, in conjunction with a representative from the UN, and of course also some civil society groups, and spearheaded by the Ministry of Political and Public Affairs, they were actually working in tandem to ensure that they traverse the length and breadth of this country, sound the views of people, and of course that consultation was done thoroughly in all the 16 districts in this country. And of course, at the end of the day, a report was presented to the president, and 2 recommendations came out of that particular report. One was for us to actually establish the establishment of the Commission of the Peace and National Cohesion Commission, of course, which predicated from all of the previous Bintumanis or peace conferences we've had before. And of course, also the other recommendation was to also have a platform where everybody, in fact, they predicated that particular submission on the fact that it's not only going to target members of the opposition party, but also vulnerable groups, women, aged, and all of these areas, you understand, we'll have a platform where we'll come together, and of course, iron out, highlight our challenges as a people, and of course, we'll find solutions to most of these challenges that they will highlight, understand. That is a common platform, because that platform is not there. Some people want their voice to be heard, but they cannot walk to State House and talk to a president. Some people, it's difficult, to actually push their case. So this is a platform. It also shows government commitment, you understand, in creating a platform where we actually, engage through dialogue what they are saying. You understand? That is the fundamental thing that this government is actually pushing towards. And creating the enabling environment for people's voices to be heard and address those concerns. You understand? Now, he spoke about a number of issues. You understand?
But any attempt that this conference should have a party clout should be discredited.
Sure. Of course, like Teddy said, you understand, and of course, so far, I want to believe, nobody will actually, give me evidence of, the current government want to take credit or, want to politicize it. So all of us, you understand, everybody in this country, because no sooner, like Teddy said, no sooner, people started to see that, it's political or the government want to take credit for it, it's not national, they will start to back out. And that is not the objective of the president.
Okay.
You understand? So it has to be open. And of course, it's not going to be political. People are going to be given the opportunity to, participate, in that particular conference. That is crystal clear. Now, on the issue that Thomas spoke about that has to do with, the division, for me, I actually want to, differ a bit. I'm not sure really we have division in this country. What I think we have is the fact that we have political, tension or indifferences. That does not necessarily mean we are divided as a nation. Because, for instance, if you look at, how the government has been dispensing, its responsibility so far. For instance, like the free quality education. You have never heard of anybody that I know or anybody's child that has been disenfranchised because he's from this particular region or from this particular tribe. Or maybe like I'm from the south, I'm traveling to the north, I'm being attacked, I don't know, you should not come out of this, I don't know. Because these are the clear indications of division, you understand? The area he spoke about, people being replaced or relieved from their duties, first of all, it's clear. Section 54.6, Section 56.4 is clear through the Constitution.
You're going beyond to justify.
I'm coming. It falls within the remit of the president to actually make political appointment. Now, for those other agencies, you understand, the president has a 5-year mandate, Abdurrahman, and he needs to actually assemble competent people that will work with him within the period of these 5 years to ensure that he actually accomplished most of this.
I'm seeing a discussion that is almost sinking the actual discussion here.
No, I'm coming. The reason why I just want to address this issue, you understand, because he predicated that all of these issues, form the basis of his submission that we are divided. You understand? So that's why I'm saying that does not, constitute division.
Okay.
For every government, you understand, that comes in, you have manifesto promises which you want to achieve within a 5-year mandate.
So you work with people that of like mind.
You work with people, restructuring, because if you look at what we inherited as a government, you really realize that there was need for restructuring in most of these MDAs. You understand? That is exactly what is going on at the moment. And most of these guys, you find people from the north, from the south, from the east, from the west, who are being redundant and also encouraged to apply based on competence and qualification.
Okay.
These are the restructuring that have been taking place over the past 1 year.
But
that is not to say, a particular tribe have been targeted or a particular political party is being targeted and all of that. You understand?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for
that has been the position of the president, and we want to also act on the main opposition, APC. The consultation, what I wanted to land on, you understand, the consultation, let me tell you, Honorable Kande Yunkela was interviewed, and of course he has consented to be one of the lead facilitators in that particular Bintumani conference. So it tells you the level of consultation so far, and other political parties, even in Makeni, the political affairs ministry, and of course also UN and the consultants met with Anes Kurma. The engagements are ongoing. Probably we are hopeful that you will actually agree to be part of it, because I believe that will actually, send a message to the supporters of APC that indeed we are one people, one country. Understand? And lastly, please, before you go to Teddy, we want to use this opportunity also to appeal, you understand, to crave the indulgences, especially of the opposition. When SLPP was in opposition, you understand, in this country, we also saw the support, especially in Parliament, they gave to the former president. At some point, they were even accused of not providing the required opposition for the people of this country. It does not necessarily mean at the time that they don't want to provide opposition, but it was as a result of the fact that politics is over. It's now behoves them to support the government to actually, succeed, because the government succeeds. It's in the interest of the people, not in the interest of a political party. and as Nkrumah is gone, all what he did as a president, you understand, we are continuing to, we are continuing from that, you understand, and we are benefiting from it as a people. So also, if Manabil, leaves power today, you understand, all what he has been doing will be in the interest of the people. So that's why it behoves us to support the president when we are into election period. Of course, we all know everybody will go back and of course campaign.
Okay,
but this now, all our focus is being concentrated towards development, and we need all hands on deck.
And he's like that when you give him the leverage to say something. So the question now is the BMC3, for short, the Beauty Money Conference 3, is it a solution platform or a conduit for peace?
It depends on how we want to look at it and how we might want to organize it. But like
Could it be possible where
like I started,
all of those grievances will be addressed during the conference?
That's how it's supposed to be.
Okay.
It's a national dialogue forum. We expect it to have a national outlook. I am very pleased to hear that from the government man out there that they are making moves to see that some of our big guns in the country are part of it, and he's called one or two names that I'm very pleased to know that they will be able to attend. Yom Kela, of course, is a very special person, a senior citizen, exposed from the UN angle. He is now in our parliament, one of our parliamentarians. To get him to come, it's a good thing. And like he said, there is a team that have met with the former president, and it's by Nkrumah, doctor, and I think he's a strategic player in all of this. If we can get him to go over there, then it speaks volume of the essence of it. So basically, but it does not only stop there. I mean, these are on the top. We still need people from the bottom that will come to make up. The Common Sierra Leonean should be out there. Yeah, it should be a national dialogue forum, and I think it has to remain in that format. Let us hope that the issues that will be designed for discussions out there are designed properly in the good faith of the welfare of our country, of the citizenry, in the good faith of trying to address our governance struggles. I think it's a warm idea, but like I keep saying, it's of high necessity. It's a dialogue program. You don't pick on one person and leave the other out. It has to be an involvement that showcases all representation from our political parties, involvement that shows the case of people from different sectors of life, different walks of life, the disabled, the women, those marginalized groups, the media houses, students, university students, activists, all has to be out there.
I'm not against the idea of having a consultant. I'm cautious as Sierra Leonean. But my concern here was to have seen a situation where no less an institution to have taken this lead than the Peace and Conflict Studies Department from a college. And also now we are on the brightest of moments. We are leading to the day to the days itself, the 23rd and 25th, where people like yourself, the Dr. Charles Silva, other specialists in peace and conflict studies to give a public lecture on the need and importance of holding this dialogue. Say, move to Milton Magai College of Education, go to UNIMAC, go to Fabi College, Jala University, so many of them. Talk to the people, try to buffet some mind or to actually accept the reality as to why the Beauty Money Conference is a practical, should be a practical reality. This way view.
I think that's really what it's supposed to be. Let me tell you, I think I as well started off with the national ownership of all of this. There's a new paradigm shift in terms of peace building as we move towards exiting out from the 21st century. And that paradigm shift talks about local ownership. Yeah, the United Nations have added their voice very strongly onto that. And what is that paradigm shift? That paradigm shift is speaking of peace building activities to be localized. This is why they are even underscoring the fact of countries establishing their own local, independent, national peace infrastructures, like what we want to create now.
Okay.
Yeah. So it speaks volumes of people moving out and trying to lay hands on how much they can give in terms of their own local community. So if we are talking of a program like this, it is good that we have people who are experts who will bring out certain messages. And the university, like you said, I mean, for us who are there as lecturers, we are always resource persons. I mean, all over the world, they make use of lecturers as resource persons. It is only in this country that it's difficult. But laying hands on those resource persons requires money. Like, for instance, those public lectures, it has to be financed. But I understand that there is already a certain move by the Ministry of Political and Public Affairs to begin to engage these tertiary institutions. Frabe College, I think, will be engaged on Wednesday, and they will try to sound their own opinion, get their own side of the story in terms of the Bintumani 3. They'll be moving down to Jala, Mokunde, and Jala campus in Bo, and then Unimark in McKinney, and then back to Freetown here, and there are a few consultations. I think it's fine. They've rounded up on the district consultations as well. So the process is highly consultative, and the inclusion of it is coming to a very high point. I think they're on track.
Thomas Moore, the belief here is civil society organizations are also non-state actors. You guys, you have responsibility to contribute towards the development and growth of governance. This peace initiative, the Bintumani 3 conference, should be seen as all-inclusive. The moment we started seeing or realizing dissenting views as to whether it should hold or not to hold, of recent we had where somebody was suggesting that we ought to postpone the entire process for a reason I don't know. But practically, the nation come first. As we said, let's look at where our strength lies. Tadefode Musa was saying here that maybe we are good at tolerating ourselves on a religious front, but there are some.
When it comes to politics, we are always divided.
We are always divided.
We have our strengths and weaknesses.
Yeah, you see, I agree with you. We have our strengths as Sierra Leoneans. I always say Sierra Leoneans, we are a peaceful set of people. We are very warm. But politics has always been a problem with us. The war and every other thing that we have faced in this country could be attributed to politics. And your question, as civil society,
I borrow the words of Andrew Kamokeli, one of the aspirants. He said, yes, it could be a situation where perhaps we are divided, but that division is ephemeral. That is short-lived. It doesn't transcend to a point where we realize I'm a full-blown conflict. The expert is here to tell us whether what we realize as conflict is in its latent form or is an outburst of it. Yes.
Yes. So your question as to the whole of civil society and all of this is very important, because civil society, we serve as we interface with the people and of course the powers that be. We are like a bridge. Civil society and the media, we are bedfellows, and our role in all of this is very key. And that is where I believe what Mr. Tadefode said is very important, that such a process should be all-inclusive. You don't alienate people. But to come again to the point I was making, every sector of this country is divided, even civil society. Functions like this will be organized, and people like us will not be coordinated. There is already this fixed perception. Government, they have a set of people that they consider as their own civil society. When they have their functions, you see them always, see their faces. There are, of course, known faces. And when you have government functions, these are the civil society you see. Thomas More Conte, who has been critical, who come out and say things that are, of course, very bare. You will not see Thomas More in government functions. Not because Thomas More does not want to attend, but simply because they believe that Thomas More should not be encouraged in programs like this. This man, I don't know, he will talk against you, he will go this, that. This is the system that we are currently in. So when we talk about division, we talk about fragmented state, it's not like people are fighting each other, people are drawing this, that. But even within the structure of our governance, people do not have the temperament to actually appreciate people who hold them to account. You may disagree with what I say. You may not like what I say. But you have to actually appreciate the fact that what we do is to actually hold you to account, because the work of civil society is to serve as watchdog. And not to always encourage those people whom you think will come here and defend you, praising you, and what have you. Not all of us will actually go into those kinds of practices. So going forward, having a Bintumani conference with a theme to unify this country, cohesion. When you say cohesion, it should not be selective. You don't look at this okay, now this then they talk for we, this na we man, now they were okay, now they were for the committee. We are hearing of some civil society. I don't even know. We don't even understand what is going on. You will not have certain media houses. Some you are ostracizing people. So we will not want these things to happen. We want we want it to be all inclusive. We want it to actually come out. And at the end of the day, you see genuine effort being infused in it, which will actually bring out results that will be beneficial to all and sundry. All of these problems we face in the country, economic hardship, security problems, division, undermining, fighting in parliament, what have you, will be a thing of the past if we have a system in place that will be open for all. We have a dialogue system in place. We have discursive forums where people will actually discuss issues from a genuine point of view.
Okay, you guys have been accused of being express a kind of selective show of concern when it comes to civil society.
Even you, the media, you are affected by that. You are affected, not only that, all sectors.
Well,
I just say the civil society and the media, we are not too uneasy bedfellows. We are bedfellows. When it comes to civil society and politicians, they are too uneasy bedfellows.
I know.
Well, on that particular note, I think first off, there are a lot of civil society, in the country at the moment, and it is just natural that be able to actually have everybody on board, no matter how hard you try. But I just want the people to know it was open, very consultative. And of course, there's a whole consortium now on this particular Bintumani stuff, a very large consortium of civil societies, you understand?
And his is not part of it.
Well, I cannot say here, you understand? I cannot say here because I'm actually not part of that particular body, you understand? But there's a whole consortium going on at the moment, to ensure that it's open, and of course, even from within the civil society landscape, there are a lot of civil society involvement in it.
And it's been headed by Moses Mambo.
No, Hawasama is a consultant. Of course, they have Alfonso Gbani and others. These are all critical minds. You understand? They have also been very, very critical. On governance issue. Of course, in fact, I was with Alfonso Gbani yesterday at AYV on Sunday. He was so critical, very, very critical. So you not say because he's pressing in government, that's why government, got him involved in all of that. You understand? So I want to allay the fear of my, my brother here, Thomas, that this government actually, does not actually, carry out its activities based on all of these assumptions. You understand that if you are not a supporter, it will interest you to note that even as we speak, there are a lot of APC party carriers that are holding lucrative positions in this government, massive ones. You understand? Still, nobody has asked them to go. In fact, you also be shocked to note that even some members of the present government now, are actually dissatisfied because these people are still there. You understand? But again, when you are in opposition, it's quite different from when you're in governance. When you're in governance, you understand you are governing the people of this country, and there are systems and procedures. So to say we have been sacking people just like that, I think that also is not correct. What has been going on is the fact that they are identifying particular sectors that offices were created that does not necessarily, and that those departments were not creating any added value, or other than adding to the budget or the wage bill. You understand? So those are the reforms, restructuring that are ongoing in those particular sectors, and of course also the appointments. It has the behest of the president to appoint, and so we don't want people to predicate those things on the fact that we are divided.
The argument is ensuring financial prudence.
Of course, that was what one of our promises. You understand? We promised.
And this is where you have a situation. You lay down people at State House and decided to take more than the required number.
No. Let somebody come out with facts. You understand? Nobody. You understand?
Challenge you on that.
No. Let somebody come with facts. We are saving more than 5 billion on the wage bill from what we inherited. You understand? In fact, if you look at the offices we created, you know, and the offices, for instance, look at the attitude and behavioral change. There are a lot of other areas I would point out to you that we've actually thought that they are not necessary, including at sectorial level. You understand that? So it's reduced drastically on the wage bill, close to 5 billion. You understand? So to say we've established, okay, for instance, if you look, you compare, for instance, the
let me
just make one reference. You will not compare, for instance, the importance or the significance of attitudinal and behavioral change to that of the Directorate of Science, Innovation and Technology. You understand?
So
globally,
what is the difference between globally change and National Commission for Civic Education?
But civic education is important.
Well, it's just a change of nomenclature.
Listen, it's very important for us, you understand? Because, you know, the civic education, if I was at start,
change was a civic education.
No, their mandates,
it's the same.
The mandates were different. Now,
I
was at Star TV Radio the last time. It will interest you to know that over the years, 45-year-old man was asked to sing the national anthem or to explain the meaning of our colors in the flag. They were unable. More than 5 people were interviewed. They were unable to sing the national anthem. So it tells you that there are a lot of problems. Of course, the civic education sector is very, very key in imbibing patriotism in our Sierra Leoneans.
Okay, I'll come back to you guys to give your closing remark while we end the program. Let's move along. In order to push for increased financial inclusion and adhere to the bank's corporate social responsibility while complementing the government free quality education, the management of Rokel Commercial Bank has delivered a public lecture to students at the University of Unimak on the topic financial inclusion and financial awareness. George Elliott Sam was in attendance and files in this report.
The public relations officer, Rokel Commercial Bank, Reverend George Williams, said the Rokel Commercial Bank is pushing for increased financial inclusion and they feel entrust the wave of innovative energy being displayed by all participants in the banking system, and a lot has already been accomplished, and the establishment of a strong payment and settlement framework and associate enabling institution which has enabled vindictive environment for financial inclusion. The Rokel Commercial Bank have seen the emergence of mobile-based financial service. In addition, the SIM-Corpo scheme has been operationalized in the capital city of Freetown, and they have seen the need to expand the SIM-Corpo mobile banking system to other remote areas of the country.
Now, what are the advantages of financial inclusion? You see, because when the financial intermediators, when the official organizations, institutions, the financial institutions like banks and other monetary institutions gather in deposits, then we have a lot more funds to make available to people who want to invest in business but do not have the capital, and also people who want to borrow for domestic purchase. For example, you want to buy a television. That's not to do business, but it's to make life easy for yourself. So, with such things, you can still borrow from the bank and pay out of your salary. After 1 year, we call these things consumer durables. So after a year, you have finished paying for a TV set, and you now have a TV set at little cost, little stress, because it was just a small percentage of your salary that was being cut for the loan that you are going to repay. Do you understand? So out of the financial intermediation process and through financial inclusion, we can be able to make our status, our standard of living better.
While making her contribution, the head of marketing, Rokel Commercial Bank, Mariama Jajua, said, despite the widespread challenges that continue to exist, the Rokel Commercial Bank already know that large number of Sierra Leonean unbanked population are yet to be touched by this financial initiative. This makes it imperative for the Rokel Commercial Bank to rethink their assumptions and proactively accelerate their efforts in these areas.
Be a part of this financial inclusion to be better for you in the future. As you said, as my boss just said, when you are included, so many things at your fingertips, loans, overdraft, everything you want, because at an early stage you've already known what it entails to have an account, how you go about it and everything. By the time you finish college, you are now able in banking. banking institution. Nobody, even if you are an engineer or you have something that you know that I have an account that I've been saving for, as my sister just said, as little as 5,000. If you save 5,000 every day, at the end of the year, that's a lot of money. Not so? So every week, this lunch, and then they buy sweets, and then they buy chewing gum, and they put on their account. At the end of the week, 5,000 per day. Now almost done. 35,000, not so 7 days. Put Sunday day, okay, put Sunday day. Monday to Friday, 25,000. You've saved 25,000 for the week. At the end of the month, how much is that? 100,000. Not so? It's a lot of money. I mean, we see with our naked eyes, we see that is something that I can do. But if you then you hand everything, you just like spend it, you don't even know what you've done with it. Not so. Money, as long as you start taking 5,000, that's the end of it. But we want to encourage you all. Please, this student with a goal, it's something that you can use for so many things.
Head of the Rokel Sinkopo service, Kizaya Salankuli, said the bank decided to introduce this new strategy for financial inclusion. This system will accelerate access to financial service for over 70% of the economically active population who are currently left out.
If you go to the supermarket you want to buy, you can use the Rokel Sinkopo product to do your purchase. If you go to the hospital, you want to pay bills, you can use the product also. You scan to pay. If you go to the bank, say the bank is full, and you see the QR teller there sitting with the code, you can go there and scan also to get access to your cash. That is what Rokel is doing for our customers. We want our customers to be convenient. We want to keep them, especially those that, you know, if you go there, you don't go for too much cash. So we want to keep them out of the bank. At the convenience of where they are staying, we give them agents everywhere so that they can go there to collect cash. This product also will encourage people to save.
Financial inclusion strategy for inclusive and resilient economic growth, leaving no one behind, is the very foundation of the Sustainable Development Goal for the Rokel Commercial Bank and its numerous customers. Therefore, the bank is happy to be working on this important initiative, which makes sure that more people in Sierra Leone have access to finance together with the bank. For Star News in Freetown, I am George Elliott Sam reporting.
Thank you so much, George Elliott Sam, for putting that report together. We also don't have much time left. Let me go over to you, Mohamed Lamanaba, for your closing remark and a call to national unity.
Yeah, thank you very much. Let me use this opportunity to actually, talk to the people of this county that the Binch 103 would be a unique platform for all of us to actually come together as a country and of course see how best we're able to iron out our indifferences, politically, and of course the seeming grievances and all of that across the country. It shows government commitment also in ensuring that most of these concerns raised, government notes them with high level of sincerity. That's why they are trying to create this particular platform. So we are actually, especially the former president also, Ernest Bai Koroma, want to, crave on his indulgence to be there. And of course, assuming what it would look like if Ernest Koroma, a former president, talk to his people as your former leader or as your current leader and chairman of the political party, please let us support the government, let us work together as a country. What that message will sink down. It will be a phenomenal message in the country. We are hoping to see all of these people coming together. In terms of government sincerity, let me say, United Nations is involved, the political affairs ministry is there, civil society is part of it, and of course there's a wide range of consultation going on at the moment, and of course other people are going to own the program. So it's not going to be the government is just leading it. Understand? It's a led government thing, but it's not an SFPP thing or APC thing. Okay. It's a national thing where everybody will have the opportunity for his or her voice to be heard.
Thomas Moore-Konte?
Yeah, well, I believe that peace and cohesion is a sine qua non for national development. Was it John F. Kennedy who said, divided, there is little we can do. For we cannot meet the powerful challenges at odds and split asunder. But united, we can do a lot. So as a nation, I believe we need to actually invest our energies into actually promoting the ideals of peace and national cohesion. And that will actually transcend political, tribal, and regional lines. And that will help in boosting our security system, to help in boosting our economy, to help in developing the lives of people. Because it is only when we have a united state, we have everybody feeling free, human rights is respected, then we will know that the state is prepared for business.
Okay.
So this is very important, and as civil society, we want to create the indulgence of our people to be calm, to respect the laws, and be within the confines of the laws guiding the state. The state functionary is to respect also the people. And
Mr. Telefone Musa, as a nation, we cannot afford to miss this opportunity.
No, it's a crossroad. We are there again. So we have to decide, we have to take it very seriously. And I just want you to allow me to say this in Creole to our people as my closing man. This one green salona we all get. This is now another moment we don't reach. We go sit down, we go talk, waiting our own problem then. Let we not take this thing for be any party business. Now that make when maybe begin me talk, I don't tell una about waiting the Lome Peace Accord be talk. It be state clearly that we need to get a commission of peace in this country. We tell thank you to we president where it don't pick them up with a government where they, but not to favor it do we and not to party business this and not to manifesto business this. So nobody not saying like one-sided party issue. It's a national issue. Do ya? When allow we put hands on deck, let we all day na Beauty Money 3 and let we go talk frankly and see how we move this country ahead.
On this note, I want to thank all of you. Telefone Musa, lecturer, Peace and Conflict Studies from the College University of Sierra Leone, Executive Director for CAN, Thomas More Conte, and Mohamed Lamanaba from the Strategic Communication Unit. We strategize every discussion in this program. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for sparing the time being part of the program. And this is how I bring out the curtain into this edition of the program. Hopefully it returns tomorrow. Till then, my name is Abdul Rahman Kumar. Have a wonderful day.
Okay.
Thank you.